Okay, so here's our review of Lightning Thief Chapter 10, page 149 if you're following along. It is called I Ruin a Perfectly Good Bus. So the kids get into New York City. Argus gives them the ride, like I mentioned. And essentially, at the beginning, Chiron just kind of goes over before they get in the car with Argus what they can bring. And they're allowed to bring food, obviously. They are bringing mortal money, drachmas, which is Greek money, or not Greek money, I should say, God-like money. And then they have a Ziploc bag of ambrosia and nectar, which is something that could heal them if they are injured. They each have, Annabeth has a magical item. It's the New York Yankees cap that allows her to kind of become invisible, right? So she's taking that. Right before they leave, Luke runs down to say goodbye, and he is the son of Hermes. Some of you got that wrong on the quiz, okay? He is the son of Hermes. Hermes is, among many things, he is the messenger god. So Hermes had given Luke a pair of sneakers for his quest, and the sneakers can fly. So you say a magical word, and these like white wings come out of the sneakers and allow you to fly. A word about Luke. Now remember, he is Hermes' son, but he doesn't like Hermes. He's kind of a little bitter about the gods. He feels like they are only out for themselves. They don't really care about their children, and he's not quiet about this. This is his opinion that he's pretty vocal about. Anyway, he gives Percy these flying shoes to be kind. He thinks he's doing him this great favor, and then when he goes off, Chiron points out to Percy cannot wear the flying shoes because he is an enemy of Zeus right now, and Zeus guards the skies. And so essentially, same reason they can't travel in a plane, it's likely Percy would be killed if he was flying around. So he gives the flying shoes to Grover, and Grover is completely psyched, right? He loves these things. So now Grover has a magical item. And then right before they leave, Poseidon had given Chiron that ballpoint pen. And we learned that this is a pen that is meant for his child. Chiron didn't know who that child was until right now, but the pen is the one that he used to kill Mrs. Dodds with in the museum. It turns into a sword. And this sword is an old sword. It has a name in Greek, and it's called Anaklusmus. It translates to riptide. Okay, so that is Percy's own personal sword. It's his magical item. So they go off, and they get dropped off at the bus station with all of their things, and they have all of their backpack full of stuff, and they're ready to go off to Los Angeles, which is where the underworld is. I'm trying to just want to make sure we're only covering like the really big stuff. So within that chapter, we learn more about why Percy's mom married Gabe. Grover lets him know that it's because she only stayed with Gabe because he smelled so bad. So Percy calls him Smelly Gabe, but Grover's like, it's because he smells. He's able to hide Percy's scent of being a demigod. And that is why his mom stayed married to Gabe, because even though he was such a big fat jerk, essentially he was saving Percy's life. So he gets that bit of information from Grover as they're waiting for the bus. So they get onto the bus and basically get settled in and ready to go. And then all of a sudden, 3 old ladies walk onto the bus, and they realize that it looks like Mrs. Dodds. So these are the 3 Furies. I asked this in the quiz, and I talked about it in the slideshow. There are 3 Furies. They are Hades' tormentors. They answer only directly to Hades. And they look like old grandmas, basically, when they get on. But the kids recognize them right away. And they realize they need to have a plan because they have to get off this bus now. As they're trying to decide on the plan, the grandmas all announce they have to all use the bathroom at the same time on the bus, and they start walking back towards the back of the bus. And Annabeth comes up with the plan to put the hat on Percy so he goes invisible and have Percy head up to the front. Of course, Percy doesn't want to do that. He doesn't want to leave his friends, but they convince him that they are not who the Furies are looking for. So Percy is able to get himself to the front of the bus, and once he gets there, by that time, the Furies have made it back to Grover and Annabeth, and they are kind of like threatening them, and they're saying, "Where is it? Where is it?" And Grover and Annabeth are like, "We don't know what you're talking about." And they end up kind of transforming into their normal state. So from grandma to hag, and now they look horrified, right? But if you'll recall back in the beginning of chapter 10, Chiron mentions the mist, which allows humans to not really see what's going on. They kind of, somehow the mist allows them to make sense in the real world of what this could be. Maybe it just looks like an argument between kids or something, but in the grandmothers, but they don't really see the grandmothers turning into these monsters again. So instead of trying to get off the bus and save himself, of course, Percy wants to help his friends. And so he grabs the wheel of the bus and he drags it, and the bus goes swerving to one side and then back again. And the Furies are flying back and forth and people are screaming. He grabs the emergency brake of the bus and like makes it like do this whole 180 thing, and it spins around, and everyone's going crazy. And then he takes the hat off and he yells, "Hey," at the Furies. And right away they leave Grover and Annabeth alone, and all three of them start stalking up to the front, and at that point Percy whips out the pen, right? And he rips out Riptide, and then Annabeth is like on top of one of them and she's like trying to attack, and Grover's trying to get to the other one, and essentially they're able to get out of the bus. They all like are able to escape and get out of the bus, and the bus blows up on the side of the road, and then the kids like scramble off into the woods trying to get out of there. So already day one, they're on their quest, and they've already come up against 3 Furies and had to escape from them. And when the bus blew up, all of their stuff is on the bus. Their backpacks filled with their food, their clothes, their money, their medicine. So their quest is off to a very shaky start.